Greg Ehrenberg here with Adam Scherer, and it's a New Year's edition of the NBA Injury Report. And once again, a pretty loaded one. Do us a favor, like this video, subscribe to the YouTube channel. When anything changes on the injury report, not if, it's a when. Something always changes, usual with NBA, but especially in these current times. Leave us a comment below, ask a question. I'll be circling back later in the day to answer any of those. Where I want to start today is the Miami Heat, because this situation is just ridiculous to me. They went out and they signed like 6 guys to 10-day contracts just in case to fill out the roster. Jimmy Butler is questionable. Here are the guys they signed today, or the last couple of days. Mario Chalmers, Hayward Highsmith, Kyle Guy, Eric Holman, Nick Stauskas, Chris Silva. Obviously, Jimmy Butler is going to play a massive role for the Miami Heat if he's in. But what happens if he is not able to play today, Adam?
You're getting a lot of minutes for a lot of bad players anyway, but if Butler is out, that's even more so the case. Tyler Hero is going to look good one way or the other. If Butler is out, Hero looks even better. Same can be said for Caleb Martin. You're at Saban, I think, looks good one way or the other. Kyle Guy, I think, looks good one way or the other, but looks even better if Butler is out. I'm assuming he's going to get a pretty substantial amount of run. He's been a 0.8 fantasy point per minute guy for his career, going back to his time with Sacramento. So I think that it's basically just, if Butler is in, these guys all still look really good. If Butler is out, there's obviously even more usage and more minutes to go around. But I don't think, at least for the players that are in the DraftKings player pool, I don't think there's a huge impact from Butler because for the most part, they're going to be good values either way.
Yeah, and also just to talk about the player pools for today. You know, some of these guys were signed really recently. So Stauskas, Mario Chalmers, Haywood Highsmith, they're not even options for us today anyway. And who knows? If Jimmy Butler plays, he's going to carry all the usage in the world. More information remains to be seen. Like this video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, check out the deeper dive live before lock. We have a better idea of what some of these teams' rosters are going to look like. Here's a team that we do know who the players are out for, the Los Angeles Clippers. There is no Ivica Zubac. There is no Isaiah Hartenstein. They're pretty thin in the front court. Are we going to see Serge Ibaka rewind the clock and play some bigger minutes?
That's my expectation. I don't think anything is set in stone. It wouldn't be shocking if they did something else, but we have seen 3 starts this year for Ibaka. He's averaged about 20 minutes per game in those 3 starts, but in 2 of those, he played 29 minutes and 26 minutes. So physically, I think he still can play upper 20s. And, for the most part, he has been the backup to Zubac recently. He didn't play at all in the second half last game, but with the absence of Paul George as well, it just makes it a little bit more difficult for the Clippers to potentially run a bunch of small lineups. Like if George were in, you could pretty easily convince me that Marcus Morris plays the 5 and they go that route. But with George out too, you're already, kind of running short on wings that you really want to play. So I think it just makes things even harder if they go that way. So I'm expecting that you're getting at least mid-20s in minutes from Serge Ibaka, which makes him look like a fantastic value.
Yeah, and also still remains very cheap on both FanDuel and DraftKings. So to me, he's actually one of the premier value options on the slate. Getting back to a spot that I thought could have presented a lot of value last night in the backcourt, the Cleveland Cavaliers. They have no Darius Garland. He's in the health and safety protocol. Ricky Rubio, he is out for the season with a torn ACL, in addition to Colin Sexton being out with a knee injury. They traded for Rajon Rondo, and I had some back and forth with people on Twitter. A lot of people are convinced that Rajon Rondo is still a very good, maybe an exaggeration, but people still think that Rajon Rondo is an acceptable NBA player, which I will push back on. But either way, he's not in the mix for today, and I probably would have played a ton of him in DFS had we had him as an option. But he's not officially been traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers yet. He's not in the player pool anyway. How are they going to fill the point guard minutes in the interim? We saw some minutes kind of get spread around last night, but nobody actually produced a crazy amount of value.
Yeah, I'm still expecting it to mostly be Kevin Pangos and RJ Nembhard. Pangos actually, I think, is going a little bit overlooked, at least right now in our ownership projections. He was mentioned as one of my favorite tournament plays on DraftKings tonight. He's only 3,500. And even with Jarrett Allen coming back, the problem for Cleveland is you're still short ball handlers. It's not, unless they completely just say, screw it, we're missing so many guys. We're just kind of going to turn this into like a backyard game and have Kevin Love run point or something like that. There's not really ball handlers on this team. So when you look at the rotations yesterday, you got 24.5 minutes from Pangos, but he didn't play at the end of the game either because Washington was blowing out Cleveland. I think he would have played 28 minutes or so had that game been more competitive. You had Nembhard playing behind him. They essentially split pretty close to 48 minutes. So I'm still interested in Pangos here because he did lead the team yesterday. He only played 24.5 minutes. He had 12 potential assists. Next highest on the team was Evan Mobley with 6 in 32 minutes. So it's not even like he was out there sort of just like as a proxy just to be on the floor and somebody else was doing a lot of the playmaking. He was very involved. He shot 1 of 8 from the field. Obviously, you would expect him to shoot better than that in an average game. So if he does get to 28 minutes here, I do think he's underpriced given the role he played as a playmaker last night.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited for us to talk about that again later on the deeper dive. We're doing that show together because we could talk about the situation with Rajon Rondo a little bit and really trigger some people by informing them that Rajon Rondo is not very good at basketball anymore. Something else that I like to inform you guys about: we have a partnership with Yahoo Daily Fantasy Sports. If you guys are new to Yahoo, go sign up using the link in the description box below. Head on over to Yahoo, make a deposit, enter a contest, get 1 free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum, and all the tools that we have for DraftKings FanDuel also apply to Yahoo. You get all of them together if you go sign up using the link in the description box below. All right, moving on to more of the news that we have on the slate, and the only player left on the Knicks. I was kind of curious how Julius Randle had not wound up in the health and safety protocols yet, because it seemed like every other player on the team had at that point. Considering the amount of guys that are out for the Knicks, is this going to be a slate where Obi Toppin comes out and just plays a ton of minutes?
I think so. It's another situation where I wouldn't be shocked if they went a different route. It's not like you really have to commit to playing a big against Oklahoma City or anything like that. But he has been the backup to Randle this year. I think that he slides into the starting lineup and at least plays mid 20s in minutes, if not more.
Yeah, and then, I mean, the other thing to consider also with the Knicks is, in addition to Julius Randle being out, there's no Nerlens Noel, there's no Jericho Sims, Wayne Selden, Derrick Rose, Daniel House. So they are missing players. Is there anybody else from the Knicks that does appear to be a good potential value play outside of Toppin?
Yeah, I think especially in tournaments, there are other guys I want to take shots on. Emmanuel quickly played a ton of minutes last game. The second unit, just got a lot of run in general. But, kind of like I was mentioning before, it's not like it is a matchup problem if they were to run a lineup of, let's say, Kemba, Quickly, Burks, Barrett 1 through 4, or throw Fournier in for one of those guys. I think that's something that's at least possible in this matchup. And if that's the case, it does open the door for $4,600 Quickly to play more. It opens the door for RJ Barrett to potentially get a little bit more production at 5,600. So I don't necessarily think that there's I don't necessarily think there's anybody cheaper than Obi Toppin that I would really want to get to. Quentin Grimes could certainly start if Fournier is out, but even then, he played 12 minutes last game, so it would be pretty risky. But as far as value, like guys being underpriced because Randle's out, I think that any of Quickly, Barrett, Kemba Walker look like pretty decent values, because not only are you losing that usage from Julius Randle, but he has the highest assist percentage on the team other than Derrick Rose. So taking him out, you expect guys like Walker and Burks to be making more plays.
And on the other side of the game, there's also potential value. We've got SGA, who is a totally unexpected late scratch last time out. He's dealing with an ankle injury. He's questionable. Kenrich Williams typically isn't that important, but considering that OKC is a little bit shorthanded, Jeremiah Robinson Earl's in the health and safety protocol, as long as Pokashevsky, Baisley, Josh Giddey, and then also Trey Mann, who's played a role at times this year when players have been out for them. They're all out. So who stands out as potential value plays from OKC if there is no SGA or Kenrich Williams?
Yeah, so if SGA is out, you got Ty Jerome in the starting lineup last game. He played 36 minutes. He would look good if he starts again. It would potentially open the door for more run for Paul Watson and Aaron Wiggins as well. But from a production standpoint, also, Lou Dort sees a huge bump in usage when SGA is not on the floor. So if he's out, I think Dort starts to look like a good mid-range value as well.
That is going to do it for the final NBA injury report of 2021. Guys, thank you very much for watching. Like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and Happy New Year.